Hi, this is France Joshua Merida, and welcome to On Point the podcast, where I invite guests that will allow you to be inspired, informed, and updated with all of the issues. So join me as I have my conversations with them on point. Welcome to another episode of On Point the Podcast, and nandito na naman tayo para sa isang talakayan tungkol sa politika. And I have here a very special guest with me. He is a policy analyst and constitutionalist. Everyone, please help me welcome Atty Michael Henry Yusingco. Attorney, welcome po dito sa On Point the Podcast, and thank you for saying yes to this conversation.
It's my pleasure, Franz, and of course, thank you for inviting me for this conversation.
At again, nais ko lang po magpasalamat. Sabi ko nga kanina, itong si Attorney Michael ay kumbaga masasabing veterano na sa pagbibigay ng kanyang opinyon at marapat lamang na siya ay atin pong imbitahan dahil alam naman natin nakakatapos lang ng eleksyon at nagiging mainit na yung mga pagbibigay kuro-kuro o opinion dahil nagsisimula na ngang mag-form or mag-take its course yung papasok na administration. So, paunang tanong po, no? Alam naman natin, the Duterte administration ay malapit na ho siyang bumaba sa pwesto. How should we look at the legacy of the Duterte administration, or how do we better appreciate it?
That's a very good question, Franz, and this is actually a good venue to answer that question. No? So, siguro, we have to be fair, first and foremost, when we look back at the past 6 years and evaluate or assess the administration of President Duterte. We have to be fair, syempre. That's the primordial requirement. So, in being fair, I have to say na yung administration niya, yung kanyang term as president produced good results, but it also produced bad results.
Okay.
Di ba? So, actually, kumbaga in simple terms, no? Ang assessment ko sa term ni President Duterte is parang more of the same. More of the same. Meaning to say, nakafocus sila sa economic reforms. So, since the time of President Ramos, all administrations have been focused on economic reforms. For a good reason, syempre. Kasi syempre, ang importante sa mga Pilipino really is yung jobs, livelihood, food on the table. So, all administrations, ang kanilang top priority is the economy.
But, how do we measure the maganda naman or naging mabuti naman compared to the past administrations?
That's right. No? So, we have to go into details. So, we actually wrote a paper assessing yung legislative performance ng administration ni Pangulong Duterte. So, because I am a lawyer, akong naatasan dun sa assignment na yun. Ano? So, meron kaming pag-aaral na ginawa na we reviewed all of the laws that were passed under the Duterte administration. At doon na nga namin nakita na majority of the laws that were passed with the imprimatur of President Duterte were actually economic-related laws like yung CREATE, yung ano pa ba yun, yung bayanihan, of course, yung rice tarification. So, that brought us to that view na yung administration niya was more of the same, no? Na they really buckled down and focused on improving our economy. So, to a certain extent, they were successful kasi nga I'm not an economist, unfortunately, but I know economists have said that kahit papano the administration did good in terms of setting down the basics or what is required for a stable economy. Kaya lang medyo na-derail, na-discarrel because of the pandemic.
Okay.
But still, no? If you recall yung sinabi ng incoming Secretary of Finance, si former Governor Benjok, no? 'Di ba ang sabi niya, we are actually in a good place right now, no? Kahit na ba it doesn't seem that way because of inflation, but yung structure natin, yung infrastructure natin when it comes to our economy ay can take it, kumbaga, can take the challenges. And that's what he said. And to be frank with you, I have no reason not to believe him. So I'm just taking his word for it.
Okay. So to move forward, yun nga, bababa na si Duterte, incoming President Marcos will step in. No, sabi nga nung ibang eksperto o ng mga tao, dalawa lang or every candidate will always parang bring the flag of administration of change or continuity. Sa tingin nyo, ano po yung madadala ng administration ni Marcos? Is he going to banner the flag of administration for change or continuity lang siya ng ng administration ng or mga policy ni Duterte perhaps?
Given France, given yung mga nominees niya o yung mga appointees niya sa cabinet, it seems that his administration is one of continuity rather than change.
Okay.
So, and even the declarations of his economic team, no? Again, sila Secretary Diokno, Secretary Balisacan, Secretary Pangandaman, all of them, in their own words, ang kanilang tema is let's just improve on the current situation. So that to me indicates that their mindset is there is no need for radical change.
Okay.
Kumbaga. So based on that, I would say na yung administration, the incoming administration, leans towards continuity rather than change.
Okay. But is that good, attorney, considering na parang same lang, or should we aspire for the change? And kung change man or kung maganda man yung sinasabi nilang administration for change, what needs to be changed? For example, no, how like in the way we run our economy, what do you think will be the change that needs to be done? And for example, itong war on drugs na ito, I'm hearing some news na parang they would continue, but
because of the current situation we are in, no, that because of the pandemic and also yung serious economic challenges that we face, yung argument that let's put off any radical change, no, sounds good. Kumbaga parang sige, I can agree with that na for the meantime, let's be conservative about the way we plot our move forward or move towards that better normal. Let's be conservative, let's take it step by step, let's lean towards stability, 'di ba? Ngayon, but on the other hand, we cannot also ignore that there are certain aspects that we need to improve on. And you touch on one of them, and that's the issue on the war on drugs, no? Because that's really a serious taint in our legacy as a country, as a democratic country, yes. No, na we will allow that number of deaths unpunished. So hindi pwedeng sweep under the rug na lang yon, or
Yes.
sabihin natin, sige, tuloy natin in a different form and then let's forget about what happened the past 6 years. That cannot be the case, no? So, ang position natin is let's be conservative in terms of our economy, for sure. I mean, no one will disagree with that, I suppose. But we cannot ignore the social ills or the political pathologies that we saw during the Duterte administration. And in fact, we have to continue talking about them so that we can determine the changes that need to be done. And I'm not just talking about the government or the administration doing the changes. No, I'm also talking about us, citizens, us electorate, voters, and also members of community members. We also need to do some changing, di ba? In terms of our mindset, in terms of our attitude. So we recognize the value of stability, of continuity, but we also need to value the urgency of making the changes that we need as part of our growth as a democracy.
Okay. Punta tayo doon sa result ng Congress, no, particularly sa Senate. The results would tell us that medyo, or hindi lang medyo, dominated talaga siya ng dynasty. Two brothers and then isang mag-ina, no? Basing from the recent result. And yung nakaka-shock or nakakaawa pa dito is that parang para sa akin, the right word is that parang mag-dissipate yung opposition. And alam naman natin na for us to grow as a democracy, kailangan natin ng mga opposition voices. What do you think, attorney, na kailangan gawin ng opposition ngayong maliit na lang sila sa numbers nila, but for them to be effective and for them to push for their agenda pa din?
So, first I have to say, Franz, that yung results ng Senado to me is really the canary in the coal mine as regards the evolution or growth of our democracy, no? Na the domination of political dynasties is really overwhelming us now. The decay that started with the House being dominated by political dynasties, infecting the party list system, is now rearing its ugly head in the Senate, no? So it's really a warning for all of us na if this continues, if this kind of domination of political dynasties, and I may add fat political dynasties, that spells doom for our democracy. Now, to answer your question with regards to the role of the very minuscule minority now in the Senate, well, they bear a huge responsibility to stem that domination of the political dynasties, no?
Okay.
That's now on their shoulders. So they have two options. They have two options in my mind. Number one, they can be simply reactive. 'Di ba? Yung critical support, yung sinasabi nila lagi na we will fiscalize, we will support when it is warranted, and then we will criticize when it is warranted. That's just being reactive, di ba? They can do that. But they can also be proactive, which is what a true opposition party is all about under the context of a parliamentary structure, no? The opposition is like the shadow government, and they can be proactive, meaning to say they themselves can offer alternative policy options, alternative legislation, alternative plans. Kumbaga, they are not just waiting to react to what the administration is going to do,
Yes.
but they will take the steps and be vocal and offer proposals, alternatives to the administration.
Okay.
So, yan ang the minority in both chambers, they have that option. I hope they also take the second option and be more proactive, no? In
Yes.
fact, be more aggressive
Steve.
in proposing alternatives. Kasi we need all the ideas, di ba? We cannot just rely on the current crop of politicians now in power na puro fat dynasties.
Yeah.
We cannot trust them eh. So itong mga nasa minority, while we recognize that the responsibility is huge, well, my hope is that they will be more aggressive in offering alternatives.
Okay.
So, having said that, syempre, I will also challenge you and I and also the rest of civil society to support them, no?
Yes.
To support the effort of the minority or the opposition. Kasi their job is very hard. So, tayo, it is in our best interest to offer help, to offer assistance to them in any way that we can.
Okay. Babalikan ko lang ng konti. You said that parang we are dominated by fat dynasties, or the general sense that we are dominated by dynasties in sense, no? What do you think is the best thing to do? Meron naman tayong provision na sa constitution naman nakasulat, but walang enabling law. And wala siyang enabling law kasi hindi naman sila makakagawa because may vested personal vested interest. Do you think, attorney, time na talaga to open the constitution and just explicitly write there na parang no political dynasties at all, or doon pa rin tayo sa route na maghihintay tayo, or let's just hope for new set of public official to actually file and actually magkakaroon lang tayo ng law that will at least tamper or buffer the proliferation of political dynasties.
So, first, Franz, I have to say that constitutional reform, charter change, whatever you want to call it,
Yes.
is not the solution to our problem of political dynasties.
Mm-hmm.
Let's establish that now
Yes.
and set aside that na
Okay.
charter change, constitutional reform is not the solution to that problem. It addresses a different problem,
Okay.
but not that. Okay.
Okay.
Now, to your second point, no, I have to say also, Franz, that we cannot wait anymore. We cannot rely on our lawmakers to enact that law regulating political dynasties in our political system.
Okay.
And you hit it right on the head, no? Because it benefits them. The status quo benefits them.
Yes.
The absence of that law benefits them. So why will they kill the goose that lays the golden egg for them?
Yes.
So, bottom line is, we cannot rely on them. Di natin sila maaasahan to enact that law. So, wag na tayo maghintay.
Oh.
We have to do it ourselves. We have to
Okay.
act.
Okay.
We have the solution to our problem of political dynasties is in our hands.
Okay.
Kumbaga, wala na tayong magagawa eh. It
yes.
is what it is. Kumbaga,
Okay.
we are now in that situation na our lawmakers have failed us, and therefore we have to take the cudgels in solving this very, very serious problem.
Okay. So kumbaga, we have to elect leaders or officials na hindi galing sa political dynasties. That's what I'm getting, no? I don't know if
That's one.
yes.
That's an option, Franz, and that is actually worth exploring
And
further.
siguro yung political party system talaga kasi akin, to my personal view, kung may strong political party system, sila sana yung sasala doon sa, officials. Kumbaga sila yung magbe-vetting process. Although wala naman tayo ganyan dito, and I don't know kung may mga batas na ba before na napapatupad to even at least fund the political party system, no? Katulad ng ibang sa ibang countries. I do not know kung meron na bang mga ganyan, but to me, strengthening the political party system is also one.
Oh yes. In fact, that is the best solution to the problem of political dynasties. We must have real democratic political parties. Yan ang antidote sa kanila eh. And you're exactly right, no? Na yung political party system natin ay medyo backward, no? Hindi siya keeping pace with the developments in the other democracies, no?
Mhm.
So that's a big handicap as far as we're concerned. But still, the reality is we need to organize real parties.
Okay.
At yan ang panlaban natin sa mga political dynasties. So, how do we do that? Isa pang matinding usapan yan.
Yeah, kaya kailangan mga pag-usapan natin yung mga topic na ganito. Kailangan talaga magpatuloy yung conversation. Hindi lang dapat matapos sa classroom, matapos sa pamilya, kundi different avenues will do kung saan tayo pwedeng magsalita at ibigay yung ating mga nalalaman, no? And I just wanna gusto ko lang kunin yung inyong opinion tungkol dito, no, on several topics. Number one, the composition of the incoming Marcos cabinet, because to me, no, to my observation, I don't know if you're going to agree with me, attorney. To me, it's mostly political appointee in a sense that yung mga ina-appoint niya karamihan ay those that who help him during the campaign. To me, taking in consideration na yung atin hong politika ay ano naman yon, given, no, na parang you appoint people na maaasahan mo, but to me it's just very alarming because sobrang dami kong nakikita na parang he's just appointing this because nakatulong ito sa kanya, but ultimately meron naman siyang kanya-kanyang wisdom, no? But what's your thoughts on this? Like, there's Remulla in DOJ, there's Benhur Abalos in Department of DILG. I mean, these are the personalities who help him during the campaign. What's your thoughts on this? Na parang I do not know kung may vetting process ba sila. What's your thoughts on this, attorney?
On one hand, I share your dismay, no, na yung mga nalagay sa kabinete tila bayad utang sa pagtulong sa kampanya. So, and unfortunately, tama ka rin, na this is a common practice, no? So, this is not unique to the incoming administration. Past administrations have also practiced this, na naglalagay ng mga posisyon sa gabinete na kitang-kita naman na it is payment for support during the campaign. But I have to add naman na kahit pa paano, the incoming administration also put in deserving and really qualified, capable appointees, no?
Mm-hmm.
In particular, sa economic team.
Okay, yes.
So, yung economic team, kahit pa paano, and siguro dapat din tayo magpasalamat na hindi na lang nila inasa sa political accommodation, no? At ang nilagay nila doon yung talagang very capable highly respected people. But syempre, hindi talaga natin maiwasan na ganyan ang politika natin. So makakapasok talaga yung mga appointees na kamot ulo ka na lang, 'di ba? Na bakit yan ang nilagay?
Yes.
And then marirealize mo kasi sumuporta ng kampanya. But that's really the problem, no? Na yung presidente natin can do that.
Okay.
That is his power under the Constitution na he can appoint anybody he wants, subject of course to confirmation by the CA,
Mhm.
without without in a way limiting it na yung mga qualified lang ang ilagay.
Okay.
So kumbaga umaasa na lang tayo that the president will have the common sense and the common decency to put the public interest first before any political accommodation. So mabuti na lang as far as the economic team is concerned, binigyan ng importansya yung public interest. But the rest, we'll have to wait and see kung anong mangyayari dun sa mga posisyon na yon, sa offices na yon.
Okay. Punta naman ako doon sa committee chairmanship nung Senate kasi may nakita akong medyo siya para sa akin, no? Na parang medyo heavy duty itong mga committee ito at medyo binigay sa neophyte senator or senators. What's your thoughts on this? Medyo, is this good? Is this the practice in our politics na medyo yung heavy duty na committee chairmanship ay basta-basta na lang ibigay without really considering na qualified ba siya dito? I mean, what's your...
So, Franz, yung process of assigning the committee chairmanships in both chambers, no, it recognizes the reality na kung sino yung mga nalalagay doon, obviously sila yung majority, right?
Mm-hmm.
So given na yon, no? So nagkakaroon tayo ng maliit na pool kung sino yung malalagay dun sa mga chairmanships kasi kailangan sila yung part ng majority. But there's also a convention, meaning to say a tradition in both chambers of Congress na yung mga heavy duty na posisyon, katulad ng sinabi mo, dapat hindi ka maglagay doon ng baguhan.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, they have to think about the public interest, right?
Okay.
Na bakit ka maglalagay ng tao doon sa posisyon na talagang mabigat, talagang importante, kabago-bago lang niyang nakapasok sa Senado o sa Kongreso. So, merong tradisyon na ganon. And somehow, I share your observation here, somehow, that tradition was ignored in particular appointees in this Senate. Na, like, for example, si Senator Padilla, hindi ba?
Yes.
Na in-appoint siya dun sa committee constitutional amendment and revision of laws, di ba?
Yes.
Na
Kasi lang,
traditional.
to my point, wala to my observation, I mean, I'm not hindi ko question yung kakayahan niya, but constitutional amendments yon, kailangan ng legal understanding.
Right.
I do not I do not seem to understand kung bakit naman binigay lang, and kung mag-aaral naman siguro pwedeng makuha pero hindi sa ganitong 6 na taon lang na pag-aaral. So I cannot seem to understand the logic.
Tama ka, Franz, and a lot of people share your trepidation, no? And ganun talaga when you elect political dynasties, ang talagang primary concern nila is their own interest, di ba? They can instinctively disregard the public interest. So kahit nababaguhan yan, basta kaalyado, at saka gusto nung tao na malagay dun sa posisyon na yon, pwede. So, these are really the realities that we have to endure given the fact na talagang ang kongreso natin ay dominated by fat political dynasties.
Okay. Last question na lang. What's your thoughts on the June 19 oath-taking of Vice President-elect Sara Duterte? Kaya ko to tinanong because alam ko may hand ka dito because you are a lawyer. Allow us to understand kung ano ba talaga yung nakalagay. Pwede bang mauna? Pwede bang... Kasi alam ko magsasabay dapat. And to me, no, to my personal observation, kung June 19 siya sakaling magte-take oath, parang para sa akin, dalawa na yung magiging vice president in effect dahil hindi pa naman nakababa yung si VP Lenny. And to me, as courtesy na lang sana hintayin na lang yung June 30. Ano ba ito? Ano ba? Pwede ba talaga to? Because the COMELEC said there's nothing illegal about it. What's your reading of this?
So, Franz, ang nakalagay sa ating saligang batas ay the President and the Vice President assumes their office on June 30, noon, June 30. Okay? Pag sinabi mong assume the office, that means they actually become President and Vice President only on noon, June 30.
Mm-hmm.
So, kung nag-take ka ng oath earlier than that, that has no effect at all.
Okay.
It produces no legal effect.
Mm-hmm.
Now, bakit pwedeng mag-oath earlier than June 30? The simple reason is, wala namang kasing batas o regulasyon na nagbabawal.
Mm-hmm.
So, pwede niyang gawin yon, kahit sino pwede gawin yon. In fact, it has been done before for different reasons, no? But the thing is, na kailangan natin matandaan is, kahit na ba nag-oath siya on June 19, she doesn't become Vice President.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She is still the mayor of Davao.
Okay.
And VP Lenny is still the Vice President.
Yeah.
So, she only becomes the Vice President on noon, June 30.
Okay.
So, wala tayong parang dalawang Vice President na walang ganon.
Okay.
So, kahit na ba mag-oath siya pa, kahit ilang oath pa gawin niya,
Okay.
she will still be the mayor of Davao City until 11:59 of June 30.
Thank you for clearing that out, no? Kasi nakukuha ko din yan sa mga messages or sa mga comments ng iba. And thank you for shedding light. Kumbaga, wala naman akong legal lens dito. Thank you so much. And just to formally close this conversation, I just want you to, give message to our listeners, to the Filipino people. What is the right attitude, no, for us to move forward? Or tapos na yung eleksyon, what's now next? Ano na yung dapat gawin ng mga voters, yung mga Filipino people? Ano yung dapat namin gawin?
So, Franz, again, I appreciate your invitation for this conversation very much, and I hope you continue with this podcast and help our fellow Filipinos understand the issues that we are facing. Now, for my final message, I would say to all our listeners, we have to continue to be aggressive in understanding and comprehending what's happening in our country. And I hope that talagang dibdibin na natin that the domination of fat political dynasties is really a very big problem. It is a serious existential threat to our democracy.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to do something about it. No? Kailangan talaga natin ayusin yan. Otherwise, our democracy will die. And when that happens, tayo rin ang kawawa. Tayo, ikaw, ako, at saka yung mga nakikinig sa atin. Ang magaganansya lang dyan, yung mga political dynasties, and then, tsaka yung mga kaalyado nila. So tayo lang ang kawawa. So we have to do something about it, and we have to do it now.
And that's it for this week's episode of On Point the podcast. Don't forget to follow us on our official social media accounts to keep you updated. This has been Franz Joshua Merida. Until our next conversation here on Point.